What's up, faithful? Welcome back to another episode of the Cover 3 podcast with myself, Dre, Sterling Bennett of 49ers Access, and Aaron of 49ers First Takes. Guys, I'm so happy to be here. How are you guys doing today, Sterling? Let's start with you.
Doing fantastic. Can't wait to watch Niners and Bucs face off on Sunday, and hoping and praying they can advance to 5-1. But it's going to be a tough one. Aaron, how are you doing?
Pretty good. As much as I'm negative, I can't wait. I love football, so I might be negative, but the anticipation for Sunday's game is killing me. So.
Oh, yeah. No, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a big showdown between two teams that are suffering from massive injuries. Let's actually check out what was the full injury report. Now it's a little bit outdated, but we're going to pull it up anyway. So here is that injury report, if you guys can even read that. We got a lot of guys out. Obviously, you're looking at Robert Beal, Kendrick Bourne was full participation, but did not practice. Robert Beal, we know that there are going to be guys out like Yetur Gross-Matos. Juwan Jennings is going to be back. He was practicing today. And this was a courtesy, I think this came on Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. So that's when you had Trent Williams and you had CMC with getting the vet days. Still a lot of guys out for the Niners. But they're getting guys back. A guy in particular is Malik Mustafa, which we'll cover in just a few minutes. But the Buccaneers have a number of guys out. Not as many as the Niners, obviously. But a number of guys out. And if you can't read that one, this one might be easier to read. Here they are. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Bucky Irving, Zion McCollum, and Benjamin Morrison. These are huge losses for the Buccaneers. Not having Mike Evans, not having the number 2 receiver in Chris Godwin, and not having their other running back in Bucky Irving. Now, in my simulation that I just did, Rachaad White ran for like over 100 yards, like 170 yards, which I was like, oh my God, what's happening here? Which I don't think will happen in real life. But how will these injuries affect the Niners' chances of winning this game? Sterling, let's start with you.
Yeah, I think for the Buccaneers, not having Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, who the latter was supposed to play this Sunday, is a big loss for them. Certainly weakens their wide receiver room with Emeka and Egbuka having a phenomenal first 5 weeks of his career. It certainly allows San Francisco an opportunity to kind of hone in on him and hopefully limit him and what he can do on Sunday. But the other loss, I think, is to both their cornerbacks, Zion McCollum and Benjamin Morrison, both starters for them. They're going to get Jamel Dean back, so there is some positive things to take away from the Buccaneers injury report. But when you have a team that doesn't have 2 wide receivers and their top 2 or 3 cornerbacks, you think that would lead San Francisco having the edge with the injuries. But on top of that, Bucky Irving missed last Sunday against the Seahawks.
Yeah.
The Bucs ran for 2.1 yards per carry. That's a whole yard under the Niners' league worst 3.1 yards per carry. So both these offenses feel like they are kind of a one-track mind, pass, 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 pass. And right now, the Bucs defense certainly is not prepared enough and healthy enough to face a 45 drop back per game Mac Jones on Sunday.
That's a lot. Aaron, what do you think about these injuries? Does it favor the Niners?
I know what's crazy is like in any other time you see this, and if we were a full go, like we were fully healthy, and you'd say, oh, the Niners got this, which would in turn turn into a trap game because you'd be like, there's no way they're going to win. But even though we have triple the amount of injuries they have, the injuries that they do have are like pretty important players. Mike Evans, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL the last 10 years at least. If he's been in the league at least 10 years. Chris Godwin, of course. And then the 2 top corners. I feel like all this cancels everything out. Like the way how we're so depleted and then they're so depleted.
Yeah.
I feel like this. I really honestly think this game could go any way based on just we're so down the depth chart in our wide receiver core, but they're also missing their first 2 corners in their, I guess, right side and left side corners. So it's to me, it's going to be another one of those perseverance games. Just try to protect Mac Jones just a little bit better. But yeah, this turns into a really kind of a neutral. I have a neutral feeling to this game. I don't really lean one way or the other.
Well, and the thing too is that kind of like what Strawberry Reacts is saying here in the chat.
It's true.
The difference maker is Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is playing at such a high level. He made that pass kind of moving to his left, and he hit, I forgot who the hell it was, but he hit him in the corner of the end zone for a touchdown. I mean, that was a dart that I was like, wow, that was an impressive throw. So not having a pass rush that can put pressure on Baker Mayfield is going to be difficult for the Niners to kind of contain his ability to throw the football. Now, we know that the Buccaneers have the number 1 rated rushing defense in the league, which is, I mean, that's great. But guess what? The Niners, they can't run the ball anyway. So even if you had the worst rushing defense, the Niners still probably couldn't run the ball. So they're going to run the ball regardless, but not nearly as good as they have in previous years. So, you know, with the Buccaneers having the number 27 passing defense in the league, I feel like the Niners are definitely going to take the ball to the air and try and beat them through the air with Mac Jones. Now, we saw last week that Mac Jones was throwing a lot of short passes. Quite frankly, he was running a Jimmy Garoppolo offense. I know it's something that Sterling touched on last week in our debate over Brock over Mac Jones, which you definitely check that out. It's on all 3 of our channels. But after watching highlights and tape, I really believe that Kyle Shanahan is going back to what worked with Jimmy Garoppolo, and he's running a Jimmy Garoppolo-style offense with Mac Jones. Sterling, do you believe that this is a Jimmy Garoppolo-style offense, or do you think it looks a little bit different?
It feels very much the same. Ball out quick, things not too far away from the line of scrimmage. But it really does feel like that the Niners have made, and this is more Kyle Shanahan, made the concentrated effort to kind of simplify things, make it easy, alleviate the pressure off Mac Jones, get the ball out quick. Don't put the fate of your now backup quarterback in the hands of what has been a pretty piss-poor offensive line in pass protection this year. But in an odd way, at least against the Rams last Thursday, then against the Bucs on Sunday, that actually might favor San Francisco because these Buccaneers linebackers cannot cover whatsoever. If you look at the stats so far this year for Levante David, who in his prime was one of the best linebackers in football against the run, certainly still is, and his counterpart, Service Dennis, who I think is a second-year starter next to David, they're terrible. A 39.7 coverage grade, that's 7th worst for David this year, 118.9 passer rating allowed, 3 touchdowns, 164 yards, and 18 receptions. That in itself is terrible. It's bottom 10 amongst linebackers in all of football. Then you go to Service Dennis. He is the worst coverage linebacker in the entire league with a 28.2 coverage grade, 133.2 passer rating allowed, 21 receptions, 331 yards allowed, with 251 of those being yak yardage and 1 touchdown. So we talk about, how limited the offense can be with a quote-unquote Jimmy Garoppolo-led style with Mac Jones, who is putting the ball where it needs to be on time. I think it actually benefits San Francisco a ton this Sunday to have Mac Jones back there, whereas in previous games or previous regimes and years, you might say, it's a pretty limited offense. It actually may benefit San Francisco a ton this Sunday.
Yeah, no, I think it definitely will. Now, some good news for San Francisco. I know Aaron's on the edge of his seat right now, waiting for that good news, and here it is. According to David Lombardi, Malik Mustafa, Juwan Jennings, and Kevin Givens are all on track to return this week, and in the following week, most likely going to get George Kittle and Ricky Pearsall back. I guess they haven't officially ruled out Ricky Pearsall, but it's looking like he's not going to play. He was seen at practice today working off to the side with Brock Purdy. So both Brock and Pearsall rehabbing on the side. Brock was seen pushing a sled, which is good news because that shows that he's getting strength in his foot. And so, in my opinion, he comes back next week against Atlanta, unless Mac Jones throws for like 5 touchdowns and 400 yards and looks absolutely incredible. I think Brock Purdy likely comes back next week. But then again, the 2 weeks after, you're going against the Giants and the Houston Texans, who both play on turf, which is not really the kind of surface you want Brock Purdy running around on. But how long can you really go without him? I mean, at one point, you got to get him back in there at a certain point because he's got to get reps. He's got to get back in the flow of things. But this right here, getting Malik Mustafa back, I think is absolutely huge. if you ask me, he takes over for Marquise Siegel. I love Siegel in the run game. Coverage-wise, he's not been the greatest. What?
You think they keep Pinnock out there?
I do. And the reason why is because I think they're going to go with experience over youth when it comes to that safety position. But let's go to Sterling. Sterling, what do you think? Do you think Mustafa is a starter? And if he is, who does he take over for?
I think they're going to bench Pinnock. I think they like what Siegel and Mustafa bring together. I think that is the future of, or at least a hopeful future of San Francisco.
That's true. That is true.
I know Siegel hasn't been great in coverage this year. There certainly has been some hiccups, and I do have my concerns about Baker Mayfield beating Mustafa, returning off an injury for the first time, and Siegel, as a rookie, a young guy, over the top in this game with Emeka and Egbuka and guys like that. So there certainly is a concern there. However, I do think the biggest loser of Mustafa's return.
Remember that show, The Biggest Loser?
I do.
There was a lot of fat shaming in that show. They were like, "Come on, you fat mother." You can't do that these days. You can't you can't body shame.
You can in my family. We fat shame each other every day.
Okay, but go ahead. Sorry, I derailed you there.
I do think that the biggest loser of the Mustafa return actually is not Pinnock or Siegel.
Why are we zooming in on me? What is the problem?
It just seemed fitting after your comment. But go ahead.
I think that Jair Brown's the biggest loser of the return because Jair Brown. Okay, I have to keep saying the word.
I know you have no other way of saying it. But go ahead.
Because I think Pinnock takes his larger slot cornerback role on base downs in zone coverage. So I do think that Jair Brown loses his 9 defensive snaps a game. Aaron, what do you think?
I mean, safety-wise, I thought I was kind of with Dre, thinking that Mustafa might take over for Siegel just because of some of his struggles. About listening to you talk and put down your expertise on the table, I feel like, I mean, Pinnock in a way would probably be the best person to have on the bench just based on his experience, that he can come in a pinch if somebody gets injured. So it's going to be interesting how much they go after Mustafa in this game. See, now it's his first game back. I know he said that it was his knee that was injured and not his brain. So hopefully he's been keeping his brain sharp and keeping himself, ready and mentally, going through the things that he has to do to get himself ready for a game. Because it's been a good long while. You're right. When it comes to injuries, I don't have a lot of good things to say. So to get possibly 3 starters back this week makes me very happy. I just wonder with the injury gods, it seems like we always have to sacrifice somebody every time we get somebody back. So hopefully maybe that doesn't happen this week. But yeah,
if you were to sacrifice somebody, who would it be, Aaron? Don't answer that question.
I know. I was like, what are you doing right now? He was going to do it too. He's like, wow.
He's like, don't answer that question.
Brock Purdy, no.
Let me ask you guys something. I know we're not really talking about the injuries, but what is exactly Ricky Pearsall's problem? Is it more than just, isn't it a knee bruise because he wasn't wearing knee pads and he fell on a hard sideline? Like,
well, nobody wears knee pads. This isn't like rollerblading.
They used to wear them back in the 80s.
Yeah, that was
They're
back
very,
in the 80s.
very, very thin.
They used to also wear elbow pads too. They don't wear those anymore.
Dude, I would be like, I would look like Bobby Boucher.
Yeah, the bulky
out there.
white ones.
Yeah.
Aaron would have the neck roll and be like, "Let's go, boys!"
Hell yeah. Oh, I would totally
like
go
Thomas.
Mike. I would go total Mike.
Vander-esque.
Yes, I would totally have a neck roll. Are you kidding me?
From my understanding, Ricky Pearsall's injury, yes, is a deep bone bruise, but he also hurt his PCL when he fell down. So I think he said after the injury, there was some instability there. They're taking a very, very, very cautious approach with him. I believe, though, he was on the sideline getting work done next to Brock Purdy. So there is some good news, and maybe Lombardi's right that you do see him back against the Falcons next weekend. But to be honest with you, while, yes, you want Pearsall back, I think he scored his first NFL career touchdown against the Buccaneers last season. I don't even think you really – I hate saying this, but like you can survive this game, hopefully, without Pearsall. Obviously, his skill set's different than Robinson and Jennings, but with how banged up the Buccaneers are, how bad their cornerbacks have been this year, and how bad their coverage is, I think you can survive this game without Pearsall and give him one more week off.
I look at the comments and Kenny has a good point. He's like, I think the more reps Siegel gets, the better. I believe that too.
Yeah.
As much as I'm not high on him, and I don't know if it was you, Sterling. It might have been someone else who said that pass by Stafford was a perfect throw, and most safeties aren't beating that.
I mean, he did make a good play in the end zone to prevent a touchdown, Marquis Siegel against the Rams. That was huge.
Wasn't he part of the fourth down stop as well?
He was. But I think Mustafa could have easily done that as well.
So it's like, as closer he is to the line of scrimmage, the better he is. The farther back he gets is where the problems start.
I mean, look, like I do get what Sterling's saying is that, like, look, if you do Mustafa and Siegel, then at least that's your future right there out there on the field.
It is.
Jair Brown, I'm not sure what they do with him, but really it's like Jair Brown on his blitzes, he's not fast. He's extremely slow. He's been slow his entire career. When he comes on the blitz off the edge, he never gets there. He never gets home. He's not very fast. He's just a bigger safety that can hit pretty hard. So I like that they're using him in a different capacity as opposed to just like letting him sit on the bench like they do with all the running backs in comparison. So I like seeing that. But let me also bring this up too, because we got some more good news, which I know Aaron, right? And here it is. Mac Jones has resumed throwing at practice today per Noah Furtado, brother of Nelly Furtado.
I was going to say that Nelly Furtado's brother.
Yeah. And here is that footage right here, courtesy of Raj from RSF Niners. You get to see him throwing the ball around. Looks loose. Looks kind of like his knees killing him. Guys, what do you think? Do you think that Mac Jones?
I don't see him throwing in this video. I see Martinez throwing.
Well, hold on, just give it a second. He'll get the ball. There you go. There you go. I guess I'll give it to you. Oh, there it goes. So that's a good sign to see Mac Jones throwing the ball. And a lot of heads yesterday were making comments that he's not throwing the ball because he's still hurt. And in reality, they were saving him for Sunday. They're like, hey, you got to give him a break. He's got a strained oblique, which happened in the last play of the last snap that he took against the Rams. So when you got a strained oblique and you got a sprained PCL, you want to give this guy as much rest as possible while Brock is recovering. So do you guys think that he will have any limitations come Sunday in terms of his durability? Aaron?
Yeah. They need to run the ball good in this game. They need to be successful with the run game. Oh my God, he's gonna get teed off on in this game just like he has been.
I mean, all the dropbacks, he's been getting punished back there.
Punished. No offense to Brock Purdy, but man, shoot, I don't know if Brock survives getting hit that much. They got to figure out a way, guys, I don't know what the problem is in the run game. I mean, we know that the blocking's been absolutely dog water trash, but man, I just want to see a game where we could actually run the ball. I think that would do wonders for the pass game.
Is he saying? Go ahead.
No, I want the run game to be good because he's all we got right now, man. You want Adrian Martinez or whatever his name is in the game? No way, man.
If he comes out there, it's going to be all bad news. Sterling, I don't know. Is he talking to you, Joseph Ehrenberg? Startling? Starting this game is going to be bad. I think he's trying to say Sterling, this game is going to be bad. Maybe he was. I think they put up 40 plus on us, and we will put up 10 max. I mean, Joseph Ehrenberg being negative that's a rare thing around here. But Sterling, I think he was talking to you. Sterling, do you think that it's going to be bad early on, that the Niners will struggle to contain Baker Mayfield?
I think you have to give Baker a ton of credit. I think that Baker's playing out of his mind, and I think no matter
Sterling,
if Mike Evans is out, no matter if Mike Evans is out or Chris Godwin's out or Bucky Irving's out, he's going to find success. He's playing great football. He is right now at least on the tier of Matthew Stafford, playing with confidence, taking shots downfield. He is the NFL's #1 deep ball thrower in the entire league. You can go through the entire stats of big-time throws. Baker is a major problem against any defense this season. You saw it in Seattle last weekend. You see it in almost every single game this year. No matter how many points they're down, no matter how many points they're up, no matter how many seconds are on the clock, Baker is trying to find the big play and more often than not hits it. And so there certainly is a concern that this is going to be a high scoring game and San Francisco's offense, can't keep up, knowing they can't run the football and that they don't really have the deep threats on the offense. And you don't have Kittle, no Pearsall and stuff like that. And really the biggest factor is the running game. Like, if San Francisco walked in with a pedestrian running game, I think people would have a lot more confidence that, okay, you can survive and milk the clock and maybe get a big third down conversion and a big, I don't know, big fourth down conversion somewhere in the red zone, but it's not the case. So there's a real chance Baker is going to go off for 35 points again. But the hope is that, and I really do doubt San Francisco can do this again, is have the first half they had against the Rams, where they milked the clock, controlled the TOP and all that stuff. It's a big ask to do what they did against the Rams again the following game. It's a young defense, young team. I get they have the rest advantage, but I'm not going to say they're going to put 40 on our defense, but there certainly is a concern that if San Francisco's defense blinks early, it can get ugly pretty fast.
I mean, you look at last week's numbers against a tough Seattle defense. Baker Mayfield was 29 of 33 for 379 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, mind you. And he only got sacked once. And then Sam Darnold, he threw for 341, 4 touchdowns, but 1 pick at the end of the game. That cost them the game. You can't trust Sam Darnold. But, like I said, Baker had a really good game against a really good Seattle defense. How would they do against the Niners defense? Well, against Seattle, they only ran for 41 yards. Rashard White, 41 yards, and Baker ran for 15. So it wasn't like they had much of a running game going. Yeah, I know Rashard White had 2 rushing touchdowns, which is more than the Niners have all season, but he only rushed for 41 yards. So as long as it was a 12-yard scamper. So again, he didn't have a running game, yet he was able to keep his team in the game and find a way to win that game against a tough Seattle defense in Seattle, which is pretty surprising. We have some more good news as well. I'm just pumping it all in now. Juwan Jennings was back at practice again today, and we have this video here from Lombardi, which shows Juwan Jennings running around wearing the Guardian cap, and he looks good. Aaron, how does this make you feel to see Juwan Jennings running around the field and being active at practice?
I would put him on ice and not have him come out of the wait till the game. No, I'm happy.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I thought you just said, get out of the training room, get on the field. I don't care. You're soft.
Build a callus.
Build a callus. Get Coach Gruden in there.
Not on the. Well, that's more like off-season program and training camp that you want the the pacification of the NFL and how they overprotect players.
The pacification, is that really even a word?
Yeah,
it is now.
It.
Yeah, it is now. It is now.
Created it.
Listen. All jokes aside, and me being the misery. I've been calling myself a misery merchant because all I do is spread negativity. No, it's good to see him back. The Niners are going to need to score some points in this game. Their defense, not only are they talent, they have a talent deficit on defense. They have a depth deficit on defense too. So they need to get on it. It's hard, man. Like before in the past, we would be like, oh man, the Niners will get a couple turnovers. They'll do this, they'll do that. They'll get some sacks. So we don't have any of those luxuries right now. So it's going to be another tough fought game. I don't think the Niners can actually think like you asked before, like how would we go about it? Do we have to play like the Rams game? Yeah. Keep away is the ultimate way to protect a young defense that's short bodies. Yeah. So I don't know how long the 49ers can get away, how long they can get away with playing this type of like kind of mirage football where like, hey, look, we're just going to play ball control and score a little bit of points and hopefully that wins because we can't get turnovers other than the fumbles that we caused. But like, we don't get interceptions, we don't get sacks. The pass game is wide open for the defense, for the offense. So, gonna have to figure out a way, and if that means playing ball control and try to get some points on the board early, kind of like they did against Rams, and do it. I think this is going to be a tougher game than people realize.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be one of the toughest.
This is a game where I do think that the Niners, I'll just bury the lead now. I don't have San Francisco winning this game.
Oh my God.
I just don't see them doing the exact same thing twice.
Right.
Todd Bowles is a much more aggressive defensive coordinator, albeit since their cornerbacks have gotten injured, their blitzing percentage is down roughly 20%, which may give Mac Jones some more time. That said, they're still going to blitz you. Like, they're still blitzing at a 20% clip. And so Todd Bowles is not going to play a soft off-zone coverage and say, let's see what happens like the Rams did with Chris Shula. And it's funny because Strawberry Reacts mentions that the Bucs are much better in the red zone. You know what? It won't even come down to that because they're scoring roughly 27 points a game, but they rank near the bottom in red zone scoring percentage. The Bucs don't even have to get to the red zone to score points. That's how good they've been this year. So there is a path for San Francisco to win this game, right? The Bucs are banged up. They're bad against coverage. Baker has 3 fumbles this year. Like, you can clearly see, hey, there's a lane, a path to victory, but I'm a little skeptical about repeating the exact same performance, which is what I think it'll take to beat the Bucs this Sunday.
And I think a lot of 49er fans who've been really, kind of bullish about our record and thinking, we can, the way we've been doing things is not sustainable long term.
Yep.
They need to get healthy. They need to get players back. They need to score more points. They need to get sacks, force turnovers, all that stuff. Like, they're winning mainly on it. They're talking about how we lost all these one possession games last year, and now we're doing it this year. I think that's sustainable to a point, but like, I'm not going to lie, guys, like over the last, I don't know, maybe the whole season, every game we've been in, it's been down to the end. And every game I thought the Niners at some point were going to lose.
It's been a one-score game every single week.
Yeah,
every week.
At every point in one of those games, I thought we were going to lose. And it wasn't because I'm negative. It's just, it's the NFL. I mean, close game at the end of the game, someone's going to make a mistake, someone's going to score, and someone's going to miss a field goal, someone's going to make a field. Like, there's just all these things that can happen. And like, I just hope the Niners as players and coaches as themselves, we've been doing it, and all the post-game talk is all about, we're finding ways to win. Blah, blah, blah. We win dirty, we win gritty. Blah, 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 blah. That's all great and everything, but like after a while, you got to start finding ways to win more dominantly, especially with the schedule that we have. Like, this Tampa game is probably one of our toughest games. There's going to be some games coming down the road that we need to get healthy, and we need to start like beating the brakes off of some teams, man. Because this, like, close game stuff is not as sustainable for a long-term thing.
I will say, though, the
ahead.
Buccaneers have also been in a one-score game nearly every week. So
Yes.
as much as San Francisco has kind of gritted their way through victories and kind of eke things out, so have the Buccaneers. But again, like, that's a week-to-week matchup thing. And I do think while San Francisco has a leg up in a lot of areas, mainly on defense, in my opinion, against Baker and the Bucs, again, like, you saw what Matthew Stafford did in a half against this Niners defense, and it was bing, bang, boom. Oh my God, the game's tied. And let's be clear here, the Rams should have won that game twice, and they didn't. Now, it was great defensive performances. They came up clutch, but can you repeat that clutchness over and over again? They've done it. I believe they can do it, but the odds would probably say no at least once or twice this year, and this game may be it. But Dre, go ahead.
We have a super chat here from the great Joseph Ernberg saying any positivity for this season is dumb. Throw for draft. Okay. Well, thank you so much for the super chat of $1.99. Sterling is on your channel. What do you want to do? Do you agree with this?
Couldn't make it $2. No,
$1.99.
We always appreciate it, Joseph.
We don't answer anything under 20. No.
Yeah.
You're lucky I pulled that up.
Look, San Francisco is 4-1. A lot of reasons to have negativity, injuries. You can certainly question the trajectory of the team as the year goes on. But right now, they have one of the easier schedules in football. They played well against some good teams so far. The win against Seattle looks good. The Saints beat the Giants last weekend. We'll see what they do this Sunday. You beat the Cardinals, who aren't playing great football, but they kind of are finding ways to lose. And you beat the Rams. I beat it was close. There is every reason to at least buy in a little bit to what San Francisco's cooking, but a long way to go. A long way to go.
The NFC's wide open this year, at least right now. and nobody's really killing it. The Eagles look beatable. We look beatable. Seattle looks beatable. Cardinals look like everybody.
No one is dominant enough where you're like, yeah. Well, maybe not.
On my chin.
Maybe not Sterling's microphone, but still.
Yeah, that thing is dead.
it keeled over. NFL Network made their picks as well, and this is who they had winning the game. The majority of them took the Buccaneers. 2 of them took the Niners. But if you look at all these scores, none of them are blowouts. All of them are 1-score games for the most part. Shook took a 10-point win for the Buccaneers, but everything else, very, very close game. I think we may be getting a Gabriel, mic drop. But I think we may be getting another close game like we've been getting all season long from not only the Niners, but from the Buccaneers as well. I mean, Aaron, what do you think about these picks? I mean, do you think that they're right on with this, or do you think some of them may be off?
No, they're pretty fair. I mean, it's I don't think if their roster was healthy.
Breaking news: Sterling's mic has been added to the injury list. Sorry, Aaron. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Aaron. Sorry.
How long is your microphone going to be out of action?
You know what? I'll say he's questionable, and you're not going to see him for a month and a half. So we'll go on with there.
Is he going to go on IR?
It'll be on a side field somewhere practicing, getting loose up.
Your microphone needs to have more practice in the off season.
Yeah, build that callus up, Yeti microphone.
Build that microphone callus.
They got to trade that mic. Get an upgrade.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Your mic has been pussified. No.
God.
I'm sorry. No, it doesn't shock me.
You're going to get me demonetized, all right?
Oh, really?
No, you're good.
That word?
I mean, I don't know. YouTube's pretty strict nowadays.
Yes, they are. 2 to 6 weeks. Yeah, no, it's not shocked. I'm not shocked. It's just another. The Niners are winning every game by, like down to the wire, like we've been saying. So like, they're at home. The Bucs. Baker's been playing out of his mind. I think the Niners' pass defense and defense in general is not really that good right now. So take all that into consideration, and I don't see the Niners winning this game either. However, if it's close late, we'll see. But yeah, I just have a feeling the 49ers defense, can't say get exposed, but I think if they're on the field longer than they were last week, things might get a little scary.
I think the Niners defense is going to play really well in this game. I don't think the running game should be able to have a huge impact on the Niners defense. I think Baker Mayfield is going to be the biggest X factor, sort of what we saw last week with Matthew Stafford. I think we're going to get a similar performance, knowing that this guy has the ability to, I don't want to say take over a game, but kind of take over the game in terms of making big plays with his arm. Now, if the Niners are able to dial up some pressure on him, that could change the entire game. But based on how they've been playing all season long, I don't see them getting much pressure, if at all. And really, they're going to need to do a very good job at containing Rachaad White and not letting him get a whole bunch of running yards. I mean, look at what Seattle did. They held him to 42 yards. The reason why they stayed the Bucs stayed in the game is because of Baker Mayfield throwing the ball. Yeah. So that's where Saleh has to be smart about how do you contain and shut down that passing game and allow your front four and linebackers to take care of the running game. I do agree that I think it will be a close game, and I think the Niners. We'll get to our score predictions at the end of the game, but I do think the Niners will be successful in this game, and we'll go over that just a little bit later in the show. But I wanted to get to another topic. And that topic is this. There's been a lot of talk about the Niners acquiring a defensive lineman or edge rusher to help bolster their defense. Obviously, with the loss of Nick Bosa, we know that John Lynch recently spoke about that. He touched on it with KNBR. Let me go ahead and pull that up real quick, and we can take a look at the quote. Here he says, we'll see. I'm having a lot of conversations, a lot of good and productive ones. Now, he could be full of shit. We don't know that. But if he is having productive conversations, there was a rumor that was put out there that the Niners have made contact with the Raiders concerning Max Crosby. Now, look, this I know Max Crosby. He's not related to Aaron, in case anyone's wondering. But do you guys think that Max Crosby could be had for a litany of draft picks? Because we know the Raiders are trying to rebuild. However, they just re-signed Max Crosby to a contract extension. Sterling, do you think Crosby is a possibility for San Francisco?
I'll make it pretty simple and hand it off to Aaron. No.
Not a chance in hell.
No, not at all.
No, it's not going to happen.
You don't think there's any scenario the Raiders go, you know what? How about this? No.
Too hard to get pass rushers nowadays, man. Elite level pass rushers, they are like, it's just tough. No.
And yet, look, if John Lynch called Mark Davis and Tom Brady, I guess, out there in Las Vegas, you know what the answer is? It's immediately you hang up. Like, what? No, the Raiders aren't great this year. Geno Smith's playing bad football, but like they're in a kind of retooling. Let's kind of get competitive while also kind of recalibrating the roster. But the Niners aren't going to trade for another highly paid edge rusher with Nick Bosa still on the roster. And let's not forget, the Niners had 2 first-round draft picks on the table for Khalil Mack, and the Raiders said, yeah, no, you're not going to San Francisco. We don't make deals with San Francisco. I'll ask you guys this. When is the last time the Niners and Raiders ever made a trade for a player?
I mean, the fact that it's reported that they even made contact was shocking to me. I was like, wow, they actually went there?
Who said that?
The internet said that.
No, I'm trying to think. Was Ronnie Lott traded to them, or was that?
Yeah, he was. Him and Roger Craig.
Like 80. He was like 92.
Let's not bring that up. That came off a bad loss to the Giants as well. It's just not. It's not very good.
Y'all didn't even watch that game. I was alive for it. Okay.
I was not.
I was alive for it. I watched that game. I was a kid.
Born.
He wasn't born yet. Sterling was non-existent. I was alive for that game.
I wasn't even thought of.
The earliest Super Bowl that I can remember was against the Broncos. And that was, as a kid, I remember watching that. I was really young then. So another name has been tossed around by a source that is completely unreliable, which is kind of weird. And we've heard other heads talk about is Bradley Chubb. I don't think that's the answer. It could be, but I mean, what do you guys think about Bradley Chubb? Is that somebody that you'd want Niners to get? He's 6'4", 275. He's 29 years old. I don't know if this is the answer. He's only got 3 sacks. I don't know. Aaron, Bradley Chubb, maybe?
No, doesn't do anything for me.
Sterling?
I don't know. He only has 10 pressures this year. He's not terrible. He's not like this, god-awful player. He just has played down. He's also on a bad Dolphins team. So there is maybe thought of get him in San Francisco, better scheme fit, better defensive coaching, and have your offense be able to be on the football field, unlike the Dolphins, who are just god-awful. There is reason to believe you can get more from Bradley Chubb, but let me ask you guys this, though. Do you guys, or if a player you want to acquire, whether it's a big-name guy or a middling guy or a depth guy, does that player need to be a base down, early down player or a third down player? Because I don't know if Bradley Chubb can play 3 downs for you.
He can't.
And
he's like another Bryce Huff.
Right. So in that case, would you want that? And would you want to pair Huff on one side and then Michael and Chubb intermix on the other side? Or would you want to go out there and get a more depth piece guy, trust Sam Mokawanu, and kind of build your depth to kind of raise your floor? What would you guys pick of those 2 archetypes?
I would do what Larry thinks and try to go for 2, to make 2 moves, make 2 lower end moves. So maybe go for a Chubb. Maybe go for a lower end interior player. I don't know. Chubb, I mean, he's the most
go
affordable.
for a Chubb.
You guys are ridiculous.
You could go double Chubb and go for Bradley Chubb and Nick Chubb. Have both Chubbs. Go full Chubb.
What is going on with Sterling? Is his face purple right now? I don't understand what's happening.
Sterling is on assignment right now. He's looking up some stats.
Seriously, though, is he okay?
He's fine. He's fine. But it could be a combination trade that brings them 2 different players. Of course, there's the Arden Key Amenihu that everyone keeps throwing out there. Like, they could go for those guys. Another guy they could go for is Jeffrey Simmons. I think actually Sterling is frozen right now. No, he's back. I think a guy they could go for is Jeffrey Simmons. Sterling, I know now that you're back. What do you think about Jeffrey Simmons as an interior defensive lineman to kind of help bolster that defensive line?
I kind of like what Aaron is saying of getting two, but I think instead of getting two edge rushers, I think it should be get a defensive tackle and
that's what I was going for. That's what I was going for. I'd rather get
before you got chubbed up.
Huh?
Before we got chubbed up.
Before we got all chubbed up. But I mean, look, like
Aaron hates me. I'm sorry. Keep going.
If you got an interior guy like a Jeffrey Simmons or somebody else. Yeah. You look at your you look at your defensive line. You're getting Kevin Givens back. You already have C.J. West. You have Alfred Collins. You have Kalia Davis. You still have Evan Anderson on the practice squad.
He's clubbed up.
He's clubbed up. But you still have Evan Anderson. So you have, and you got the Hulk. What's his name? Sebastian Valdez. So you kind of have a lot of options for your interior defensive line. It's the defensive end position on the edges that you really got to bolster up. But you figure if you get a guy like Jeffrey Simmons, that's going to spell good night for somebody on the defensive line, I would imagine. Who do you think goes?
Yeah, that's actually what I want to ask Aaron too, and please finish your earlier point too, Aaron, on top of this. But if you get two guys, who's out the door?
I mean, Kalia Davis was doing some good things. Alfred Collins is potentially getting better.
I mean, Collins and C.J. West aren't going anywhere. Neither is
Jordan Elliott's played good this year.
Jordan Elliott, I forgot about him.
Good. It's a good question, man. Maybe just hope that the interior gets healthy and really concentrate on the edge. I mean, do you go for broke for one guy?
Right. So that's my thought.
And he's only going to be a rental, or do you do something where maybe they go after multiple guys and they're both on the lower tier where people are not going to be excited, but then all of a sudden we have a little bit, maybe we can do some sort of rotation. Maybe we get I don't know how they would go about it, man. I really don't. They have I say this and I'm not trying to be facetious, but like you could probably make a move for an interior guy because there's probably a chance an injury is going to happen or two. And that's not even me being a dick. It's just being the God's honest truth. But if I'm taking it from a specific like depth and we're healthy, yeah, I don't make a move for the interior. Maybe I just go straight edge.
Would it be better because I think there's a clear path to a guy. Like you can easily put Jordan Watkins on IR. He hasn't played all year, whatever. We'll see when we see if we ever see you at all. Like, there's a path right there to being on the active roster. But I do wonder, I like the idea of getting two guys because who doesn't want more depth, especially if those guys are under contract for 2 years. But I do wonder if maybe you just kind of mold that into one person and get you a guy that can play inside and outside. That way you can kind of give you a more NASCAR package. That's why I love Kayvon Thibodeau, but the Giants won last night and they've won 2 of the last 3 games. So
the Giants look good and they don't have Malik Neighbors too, which is why I think they might make a move to get a receiver.
They got my boy Scadaboo though too, man. He's like one of my.
Let me say this. There's my phone.
Oh, somebody's calling the nurse's office.
It says scam likely, so those are my favorite. So let me say this though, and this is something that I wanted to address, is that I keep seeing all these tweets on X posts. Sorry, about. Oh man, I wish the Niners would have drafted Cam Scadaboo. The Niners should have drafted Cam Scadaboo. Cam Scadaboo would look so good in Niners uniform. Here's the problem I have with that.
Oh,
you'd be seeing him as much as you're seeing Brian Robinson, which is hardly at all.
Absolutely.
He'd be sitting on the bench, not doing shit, wondering, are we ever going to see Cam Scadaboo? I'm happy he's on the Giants. I'm happy he's starting. I'm happy he's getting a much bigger opportunity because you know damn well he would not get those opportunities in San Francisco with CMC here. I'm sorry, he wouldn't. You're talking about a guy in Brian Robinson who's had a high PFF grade as a receiving running back out of the backfield, and he was a starter for the Washington Redskins. Or I'm sorry, Commanders, and he still barely even gets to play. Sterling, you said, "Whoa, what's going on?"
I was just going to say we have the injury report for this Sunday's game for San Francisco. As the obvious, Brock Purdy is officially out with the toe injury, and Ricky Pearsall has been labeled as out as well. Mac Jones is questionable, and Adrian Martinez is expected to be the backup. However, Juwan Jennings is officially questionable, so JJ is probably back. He is black, but he also is back.
And now you're going to get demonetized.
Talk about
on your own accord.
Wow, dude.
Well, the reason why I said wow was because the Niners plan to open up 7th round pick quarterback Curtis Rourke's window for return from the NFI. So you may not have to hear the name AJ Martinez for a while.
There you go, everybody.
Because Curtis Rourke may come back. But
smash the like button while we're actually all still on YouTube.
Yeah. So Curtis Rourke, his window gets opened up. That's exciting. We'll see what time he even gets. My question is, whatever happened to Jordan James? Is he just inactive? So him and Nick Martin, inactive. There reaches a point where, look, D. Winters did not have a good game against the Rams. His PFF grade was horrible against the Rams. I think you were even saying he was the worst graded PFF player on both teams.
Which is crazy.
But is that a case where you got to start looking at, hey, we got to start using either Tatum Bethune or Nick Martin, a little more often to kind of spell D. Winters. Is D. Winters regressing, or do you think he just had a tough game?
I just think he had a tough game.
I think he had a tough game.
Rams had a pretty talented offense.
But shoot, the worst defensive player, that's nuts. The worst, they held the Rams rushing offense below 100 yards, I think.
Yeah.
And that's more of a defensive as a total thing, but the worst defensive player was not D. Winters. It was the entire Rams secondary. Emmanuel Forbes, god-awful. Darius Williams, god-awful. Really, D. Winters had a 29.8 grade. Seriously? That to me is all right, PFF, how much crack did you smoke before the game ended? My God.
Okay, so let me ask you this, though. Do you think they should give a chance to a guy like Bethune or even Nick Martin more often just to get him circulating into the defense? Or do you stick with D. Winters full time? Hey, unless he goes down, you guys are on the bench. Because Nick Martin has been inactive every game. Same with Jordan James. So why invest draft picks in these guys and not even make them active come game day?
You can't give up on a guy after one game. He's been good from all the reports, Sterling's included. Winters looked great in camp. He's looked great in the offseason. He's finally coming around with this scheme and becoming the player that I think they drafted him to be. It's just good to have a lot of good depth. I mean, the Niners have one of the best linebacker coaches in Johnny Holland, and they have probably the deepest linebacking room in the National Football League. So I'm not going to I wouldn't overdo it. I thought the defense as a whole played awful in the second half against the Rams. So
they were gassed.
For them to single out freaking, like you said, D. Winters is dumb. If anybody should have had the worst grade of the game, it should have been, well, no, that's not true. He gave up the deep pass, but then he also was in on the, two of the bigger plays of the game. So no, that D. Winters, you can't. That would be horrible. One bad game, you're to the bench.
You're on the bench. Well, I'm not saying bench him, but should they give the other guys some time on the field to kind of, spell D. Winters and give him a little more of a break? Because maybe he's starting to wear down.
Kyle doesn't do that. Kyle is all about riding the guys that he believes in. That's why you don't see any other running backs other than Christian and DeMarcus. Is it what did I just say? DeMarcus? Brian Robinson.
DeMarcus Robinson.
The Brian Robinson MIA thing is just typical of what I think we talked about, and me with other content creators was, it sounds good in theory. We made the move. Oh, wow. We have a real number 2 running back. But what it really means is Kyle's going to be stubborn, just like his running back coach, Bobby Turner, and they're going to ride a guy until he's hurt. They do that every year, no matter who it is.
Well,
his father did the same thing.
even in like 2019 and 2021, like they rode Elijah Mitchell the entire end of the year. Guys were hurt before that, but even before then, they rode Jeff Wilson Jr. They were riding Tevin Coleman. In 2019, it was Mostert, or really it was Breida. Then it was Coleman. Then it was there was never a solid rotation of guys,
Never.
even when they were going running back by committee. So to expect that was probably slim. But I think fans were hoping. And I think Aaron's kind of getting onto this of like, you can hope when you get a guy like Brian Robinson, he'll get 5 carries a game, he'll get 6 carries a game, and alleviate Christian McCaffrey. But I do wonder, and Aaron, please answer this because I have the question myself. Do you think the receiver injuries are keeping McCaffrey on the field more than Shanahan or Holland want? I think that's a big problem. Or
Absolutely. Yeah, he's one of the. Isn't he like in the top like 10 in receiving or receptions in the national?
Yeah, he is the offense.
Yeah. We were worried about him getting a ton of touches, but they're not coming through the run. I mean, he is still getting a good amount of touches in the run game.
It's skyrocketing.
In theory, too, based on the past and how good we've been running the ball, in theory, the Robinson McCaffrey pairing would have been amazing, right? Because we were gouging people with the likes of Elijah Mitchell, Matt Breida, all these, Mostert, guy that was a special teamer his whole life, came to the Niners and became, their starting running back, at least for a while. And like, we just, in our minds, I were like, oh man, the running game, but offensive line has been so bad in the run game. I mean, just pitiful bad. But yeah, the fact that he's a receiver is a huge piece of why he's in the offense. Heck, they're even throwing to Kyle Juszczyk right now. I mean, they're so depleted.
But I like the using Kyle Juszczyk. I mean, you're paying him a lot of money. You might as well. And he's almost like a tight end out there with his catching and receiving ability. So they got to use all the weapons that they have, and I'm glad they're taking advantage of everybody. Tonjes, Juszczyk, Bourne, MVS.
The one thing I like about Mac Jones. One thing I like about Mac Jones, and no, I don't want him to completely take over forever. I wish I could have prefaced it in my comment last week. The one thing I do like about that? Yes. The one thing I do like about him though is he loves the underneath stuff, and he goes to his checkdowns. The one thing about Brock, sometimes if we were watching games, we saw the Jaguars game, even though they are legit, they have a legit defense. We on screen watching games, we're seeing guys open underneath that he could have made throws to. Yep. And he decided to go with the higher level of difficulty throws with the bad foot, translates interception. So there is the one thing about about Mac Jones that is intriguing, that he really takes what the defense gives him. And why not? I mean, if you're not going to be able to get anything done in the run game and guys are just banging their head against the wall trying to run against this or run behind this awful pass run blocking offensive line, might as well keep Christian McCaffrey in to be a receiver.
Yeah.
I don't even know why the Niners just don't go 5 wide and just throw the ball every play. Like, it's bad for pass protection.
I mean, they pretty much are at this point. I mean, they're throwing the ball a lot.
They still run a lot of congested formations, though. It's still it's still 11. It's still 11 personnel, just changed around. You never see the Niners just go like 5 across the board, and it's just the offensive line.
Do you think that'll change once George Kittle comes back?
I hope so.
Like people are saying, the running game is averaging, 1.4 yards more with Kittle out there. If your tight end is the reason your offensive line is getting 1.4 yards, which like the stats would say it is, but it's like in the reality,
there's definitely
your left guard sucks, your center sucks, and your right guard's not been good in year 2.
Yep,
he's not been good. I don't think he's healthy. But it's been a number of weeks.
Nobody's healthy.
Nobody's healthy.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
I mean, it could be worse. When we're talking about linebackers, we could have Dre Greenlaw, who hasn't even played all year long. So,
did you hear the Broncos broadcast was like, they really missed Dre Greenlaw? And I was like, they have never had
They've never had him.
like, what can you miss?
What, do they miss him in the facility?
That's almost as good as when they showed Trent Williams on the sideline at the end of last season. It was like some other guy. I don't even know who it was.
It was like some trainer. I don't even know who the guy was.
I remember tweeting that during the game as soon as it happened. Like, who the was that guy? I did the famous who the is that guy from Conor McGregor? Like, who was that?
He can't even read.
So as we kind of reach towards the end of the show, I want to ask you guys, we talked a lot about the Buccaneers, the Niners. Okay, so obviously they're not going to be able to run the ball all that effectively. Now, things could change, but Niners likely will not have a very successful running attack against the Buccaneers. Buccaneers have a very bad secondary, which I think the Niners are going to look to exploit. Not only that, but their linebacking core is horrible in pass protection. So if there was ever a time when you needed George Kittle, it would have been this week because nobody could guard him. But instead, you're going to go with Jake Tonjes because you don't have a choice. So having said all that, knowing that Mac Jones is going to be starting, he's kind of banged up. Where do you see this game going? I want to go into our score predictions for the game. Aaron, where do you see this game going on Sunday?
Oh.
What is it?
Kevin Givens is also out this Sunday.
I figured that. He just came back. They're probably like, yeah, you're not ready, dude.
So that means they're probably going to get Evan Anderson.
Yeah, and there was talk all week about elevating Evan Anderson from the practice squad, who's been healthy all year. So there you go. Yeah. No, now Aaron's pissed.
Yeah, sorry, Aaron. Go ahead.
I fucking knew it.
What changed? Like, is it just?
It just feels like he's not ready to come back.
I mean, I think he just started practicing on Wednesday.
Don't tell me he suffered a setback.
I hope not.
No, that's different because they have 21 days. They have 21 days to activate him, so I think it's usually the Niners. We're not going to rush it back.
That's usually the Niners' famous line, is he suffered a setback or like with the. Let me ask you this before I answer about the end of the game prediction. Did you guys? Was it Javier Vega, someone I used to deal with back in the day when I was doing stuff with like Justin Naylor and stuff? But like he was big. He commented something like he's starting to have less faith that Brandon Ayuk might actually return this year. He doesn't seem the clarity. He seems like the Niners are being really cloak and dagger about it, and I really believe the same thing. And that is the one of the biggest bones of contention that I have with John and Kyle, not with what they do with their coaching or how he runs the front office. It's how they handle the injuries. It's so much of this like indecision, and they say things one day and it sounds like somebody's coming back, but then they never return or they have a setback.
Well, what about the Ayuk thing? Either makes you question if he returns or at least frustrates you in regards to what they've said or how they've gone about things.
It's just ambiguous. They're very ambiguous about it. Like there's not. It seems like the answer changes based on when you ask them. Kyle said week 6 to 10 is the window. John Lynch said there's no end in sight. He's not close. He has to be. Isn't there like a deadline where he has to open up his 3-week window before they have to put him on season-ending IR? Isn't there a week in the season when that happens?
He's already on. He's on the PUP list, so I don't think there's a deadline for him to have to go on IR. Because I think even if you're on IR, I think you can return in the playoffs too. So they changed that rule, I think, in 2020 or 21, one of the years.
Essentially, they can keep him out all regular season, and if they make the playoffs, he can return, essentially, right?
I think that rule is specifically you have to have played in at least one regular season game, then go on IR, then you can come back. But let's also not forget, this is week number 6. So if you are to believe Kyle Shanahan, he has another month to eventually come back. Okay. And if you're John Lynch and you're saying he's not close 2 weekends ago, then a month and a half goes by. Maybe that's him being closer.
One of the things that was brought up, I don't know if it was brought up by Vega in the post or somebody underneath it, said that could they be holding him back for a potential trade in the offseason where they just don't have him come back and then they sell him off? Because you talked about like Ayuk being, signing a deal that they never wanted to, and then if they have a chance. But the problem is everybody's been hurt all year, so we haven't had a chance to look at anybody to see if people, if they are going to be in a position to move them. So there was that too.
So let me ask you that. What helps his trade value more? Not seeing him at all, having no team see him, having no team, have him not play in an actual game and get actual live reps, or him come back for 2 or 3 weeks, return, look mediocre, look bad, if you will, and have a built-in excuse as to why that was the case. Do I think and also on top of that, like, yes, San Francisco regretted the contract. They openly said that to a lot of reporters and everything. And they're not hiding their disdain for the contract they signed, but what makes them look worse? Signing the contract, the guy getting hurt, then refusing to bring him back in hopes of trading him and may not being able to do that and having to bring him back anyways, or just bringing him back altogether and say, hey, but let's also not forget, it's not a year anniversary of the injury until next weekend.
You're right.
It takes about 12 to 15 months to return from not just an ACL, but an MCL and other ligament damage. So it's not just a clear cut. There's a real possibility. Yes, Ayuk never comes back because the injury is so serious and it's a constant problem, like what Beckham Jr.'s was with the Giants and the Browns and the Rams. But also on top of that, it'd be pretty foolish for San Francisco to openly have a healthy wide receiver that could be somewhat of Brandon Ayuk's caliber and say, oh, the contract's a problem, you're not playing. So I would just preach some patience. Sometimes you think guys are trending in the right way, and sometimes with an ACL and MCL and knees, they take longer. Not everyone's Adrian Peterson who comes back and has a career year the next year. So
you're right.
We'll see.
No,
I don't know. No one knows.
When you break it down like that, it makes total sense to wait until he's completely healthy. And then if they play long enough this year and they're in something, if they're in the playoffs, if that's when they want to bring him back. I mean, if they come up short and they're not going to make the playoffs this year, I hope that's not the case. If they're not making the playoffs this year and it's iffy and when he's to return, I don't bring him back. I only bring Brandon Ayuk back if there's a chance we get to the dance and there's a chance we can do something. That's the only way he comes back. I don't want to bring him back in week 17 on a meaningless. It's to me, it's just. But then again, you made a good point. Like, they got to see what they have, their investment. If they do want to trade him, they want to see what they got. Maybe he's too good to trade. Maybe they keep him.
Well, some of these guys too, even if they come back, it's going to take them a few weeks to get back into the mix. And we saw Ayuk come back last season after missing all of the preseason, all of minicamp, and he did not look the same. I mean, I would say the game before the Chiefs game, he actually started to look like his regular self, and then he got his knee blown out.
Cardinals game where he looked really good, but that was
it. And then his knee got blown up, and that was it.
You asked me what I think this game's going to be like. I think it's going to be very similar to the Rams game.
Yeah.
In that it's going to be close. I just think that the 49ers defense, they're either going to lose this game for the 49ers or they're going to win this game for the 49ers. I think if they can get some turnovers, get some pressure on the quarterback, seeing that he doesn't have all his guys, maybe they take a chance at going after him. But I think the Niners defense is either going to lose this game for them where they just can't get any stops, can't rush the passer, don't get any interceptions. Or maybe they pull another one of these magician type endings where they force a fumble to Fred Warner or somebody along that lines. If it's close late, then it's so hard watching those kind of games. I don't know about you guys, but I get massive achita late in games. So,
I loved it. I loved Thursday night game.
If you want you want a prediction?
Yes. Final score prediction. Go.
I'm going 31-24 Bucs.
Woo! High scoring.
I think the Niners defense gets a little bit exposed in this game, personally.
Okay. Sterling.
I think it'll be another one-score game. I won't go as high as Aaron did. I do feel like Mac Jones is due to throw a bad interception, whether it's early or late, I don't know. I do feel like you walk into this game, you're feeling yourself pretty well. The defense played essentially 5 quarters against the Rams and came away, got the win. You have 10 days off, and that's great and all, but I do think that, again, can you replicate that? The odds would say no. My heart and my hope hopefully says yes, they can. I do think it is kind of a seesaw battle back and forth of, whether it's a Bucs score early and the Niners can't score, but somehow find the way to kind of climbing back into a game late. However, I do think that this game, it's tough because we can't forget that Eddie Pinheiro scored 14 points against the Rams and has been like the savior of San Francisco.
Absolutely.
Amongst other things. Like, he's been phenomenal. Hit a game-winning field goal against the Cardinals because Mac Jones had a great drive and everything. Like, they can't be forgotten. And I do think that this game will come down to a field goal. However, I do think, unlike the Cardinals game and unlike the Rams game, you will see Chase McLaughlin of the Buccaneers hit a game-winning field goal in down San Francisco, 26-24 on the road in Florida, in Tampa Bay. It's going to be close. It can go either way, but my money is on the quarterback playing better football and the home team getting a victory this Sunday.
You know what? I'll say this. Fuck Chase McLaughlin. You want to know why? Because when we had him on the team, they set him up to win the game against Seattle, and he completely shanked it. Where I watched it with a whole group of guys. We were like, "Come on!" He kicks the ball. We're all, "Oh, what was that?" It was like me throwing the ball. It was like, It was like a dead duck. It was like, that's it. Man. That's all we get. That was a game where Dre Greenlaw picked off Russell Wilson.
I was on a plane flying back from Southern California to Northern California, looking through the seats, trying to see the guy in front of me watching the game, being like, damn it, the entire time. It was so frustrating. But
I remember watching with my nephew, and I had the same thing that whole game.
It was like a dead duck. It was just like, I was like, that was it?
I think SF was either 8-0 or 7-0 coming into that game, and that's the game they lost their first one of the season. Oh, God. And it set up the week 17 game winner in Seattle for the division.
Yeah, it really did. So I'm going to go against the grain in terms of what you guys are predicting. I'm going to say the Niners are going to win this game. And I think they're going to win at a final score of 26-23. It's going to be a close game, very similar to what we saw with the Rams. Because really, you look at it, yeah, the Bucs can stop the run. Niners don't run the ball that well anyway. I think Niners are going to be throwing the ball like crazy, and they're going to be trying to run the ball as a change of pace to catch them off guard. But I think they're going to be throwing the ball a lot. Vita Vea is not really going to let you run the ball up the middle. So I think through the air is where they're going to attack the Buccaneers. Now, Todd Bowles is a guy who likes to blitz an awful lot. So I do worry about the durability of Mac Jones. If Mac Jones can stay upright and stay in the game, I think we win. If he has to leave the game, it's good night, Irene. Buccaneers are going to win this game without much, without much resistance. But I'm going to go with 26-23 Niners. And what's crazy is if they could have pulled off that win against the Jags, they'd be 5-0 right now, with the possibility of going 6-0. And that in itself is crazy.
Jags defense is good, a lot better now. It does.
And not only that, but this win, it's only week 6, but this win depicts who has the best record in the NFC. So whoever wins this game will be in the number 1 seed in the NFC, which is crazy to think about.
I just want the Niners to freaking tread water long enough to get healthy and then let it whatever be, you know what I mean? That's it.
Don't forget the Lions have the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football.
They do, but the Lions in the division, they're 1-1. Niners are 3-0 in their division, which is it's really helping them out.
And don't forget, sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, Dre.
No, go ahead.
There's been some people in the chat saying like no pressure on Baker Mayfield, you're not going to win. And I don't think that's entirely true. I think Baker can play pretty well through pressure. I think he's one of the better quarterbacks who's been fighting for his life the entire 5 weeks and still winning football games. However, the Bucs have the worst right tackle in football. Charlie Heck, former San Francisco 49er. Heck
of course he is.
Heck is the 4th lowest rated tackle in the entire league and has given up the 2nd most pressures at 22. Obviously, he's playing on Baker's strong side. So you have Tristan Wirfs, again, could have been a 49er thanks to Javon Kinlaw, but Heck is the worst right tackle in football this year. And their center, Graham Barton, who I wanted him to take Jake Brendel's job a couple of years ago in the first round. Obviously, it didn't happen, but he is right now the league's lowest rated center in pass protection and has given up the most pressures and sacks among centers. So the interior San Francisco's offensive line, Michael, West, Collins, Elliott, whoever gets called up, whether it's Gibson or Anderson or Valdez, there is a good chance they can get some pressure on Baker. The fastest way to the quarterback is through the center, and Graham has been the worst in football. So there is a chance. There's a really good chance it happens.
And there's this too, is an interesting stat. Michael Williams has been double teamed 50% of the time this season. That's the most in the league. And that's crazy because he's a rookie. But that goes to show you how much they're accounting for where Michael Williams is at on the field. And now with no Nick Bosa, this is what, to me, what also influences the idea of, can they bring somebody in to make an impact? You know, you still got Gross Matos coming back. You still got some guys. But I think that if you do go out and get somebody, and we can't touch on this earlier, but we ran out of time. I think Sam O may be on the chopping block if they get somebody, a defensive end. Because,
what about Granderson from the Saints? That's brought up in the chat here.
I would take it. At this point, you throw any defensive end out there that is any kind of good, I'll take them.
Yeah.
Any of them.
Thibodeau, which I don't think is coming, but still. But we'll see. So Niners take on the Buccaneers at 1:25 p.m. Pacific time. That's because that's the time that counts. That's the time that Jesus went by. And on top of that, they will be
known for being born on the West Coast.
Yeah, on the West Coast. And the Niners will be wearing, for the first time this season, their home reds. Yes. Why on earth have they not been wearing their home reds? Are they that worried about the heat that they're like, hey, we're going to wear the whites?
Scally asses, man.
I know last year they had the hot game against the Cardinals when they tried to wear their all whites. They're like, oh, sorry, the Cardinals are wearing their all whites. But it seems like every game they're wearing their primary white uniforms. I'm so sick of those, and I want to see the Reds. We're going to see it this Sunday in Tampa Bay at 1:25 or 4:25 if you're Aaron.
Yeah.
Niners look to take first place in the NFC with this win. Can they do? We'll find out this Sunday. I want to thank Sterling, Aaron, of course I want to thank myself for coming out here and of course giving a fire stream. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to 49ers Access, to 49ers First Takes, and to Dre Area Sports. It's all three of our channels. We appreciate everyone who subscribes and hits that like button, and hits the notification button, and supports our channels. Because that's why we do this because we like talking to the fans. Let's go with some parting words. Sterling, I'll start with you.
Going to be a close one. Going to be a fun one, though. Hold on to your seats, folks. Could also be a long one. So gear up. Niners Bucs on Sunday. Hoping it's another win, but we shall see.
It could be a long one unless they get Chubb. Go ahead.
Protect.
We're all going to get chubbed up on Sunday watching this game.
I'll get a chubby if they freaking protect Mac Jones. How about that?
Well, that's fair.
Please protect the quarterback. Thank you very much. Drive through.
There we go. Niners, Buccaneers, first place in NFC on the line. We'll see how it goes. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.